I am having an affair with my wife's mother. I know that what I'm doing is terrible. I swear I'm not typing this to get any sort of approval, I'm doing it to get it off of my chest. My wife and I are 19. We've been together for 3 years and got married 5 months ago. The relationship was genuine even though we were young. We dealt with a lot of adversities, mainly being her abusive father disliking me, and pushed through each one. Even though it won't seem like it, I really do love her. Her mother, who's 40, and I have always had a great relationship. I admired her deeply because she went through a lot of painful, horrifying, disgusting things in her life, yet was still the sweetest, most optimistic individual I've ever met. A literal angel. Even though she was the mother, my wife was extremely protective of her because she had such an innocence. She moved in with my wife and I about 3 months ago. We have a tiny 1-bedroom apartment, so she's had to sleep on our super uncomfortable couch, which she does happily. After she moved in, our relationship started changing. We would have to keep each other company because my wife works long hours. It turned out that we were into a lot of the same things like anime, certain books and certain series. Things my wife doesn't care for. So we bonded over those things at first. Then she started opening up more about her life and I became even more admired and protective over her. I just wanted her to be happy and loved for once. Soon, I started noticing her physically. She's a thicker woman, which I always secretly had a thing for even though my wife is very petite and thin. It seemed like she would start wearing a little less pajama shorts instead of pajama pants, for example. And her thick legs always looked extremely soft and smooth. She used to always wear socks, but then she started going barefoot and I found her feet, kinda chubby, really cute. Little things would turn me on to the point where I would masturbate to her. A week ago, she came back to our place crying. I immediately went to comfort her and I held her on the couch. I kept asking her what was wrong and she refused to tell me out of embarrassment. I kept telling her it was okay to tell me and she broke down and admitted that she feels extremely fat, old and undesirable. Said that she saw a group of guys laughing at her. I honestly started crying too and tried my best to convince her that she was not any of those things, and then something just came over me. I started kissing her. I thought she would push me away and slap me, but instead she started kissing me back. It got extremely heated and long story short, we had sex. Well-made love would be more fitting. Afterward she broke down and decided to get a hotel to stay in instead of with us. I understood. But ever since, when my wife goes to work, I drive to her room and we have sex. I've begun craving her to an uncomfortable level, every tiny thing allot her. Even her flaws are delicious to me. She seems to really want me too and is honestly way more passionate than my wife has ever been. I know that this has to end, and very very soon. I fell down a terrible black hole and it's all my fault. Now that I'm stuck in it, I don't even know how to begin to stop. Brother's wife had an affair with me, but he won't believe that I didn't know. Everything feels like it's falling apart and I don't want it to end this way. My older brother and I used to be close as kids, but we had different lives. Both had the same dad but different moms. My mom was a junkie, so his mom used to let me stay with them often. Around my senior year of high school, I started falling into the same thing as my mom and that fucked up my relationship with him. I was an asshole back then and basically took advantage of his and his mom's help. Stole money from them for drugs, made them think I was getting help and needed money for rent. Not proud of what I did and I absolutely deserved it when they both cut me out of their lives. Was only 21 at the time and for 3 years I was out of control with my drinking and getting high all the time. It was a really bad period in my life. Second time I OD'd, I started going to rehab. I'm 29, sober for 5 years, got my GED, and working full-time at a recycling plant. Over a year ago, I decided to reach out to my brother. Wanted to show him that I changed my life around and want to reconnect with him because I know I fucked up in the past. My brother was willing to talk and slowly have been keeping touch through Zoom, phone calls, and TXTs. It's been so great having my brother back in my life. I know he still doesn't fully trust me, and I don't blame him. He's gotten married and has 2 kids. A girl and a boy ages 4 and 2. Still haven't met them because like I said, I'm working on earning that trust and he doesn't want them to know who I am just yet. Was never even shown a picture of them. That includes his wife or soon-to-be ex-wife. But turns out she's the fucking lying piece of shit I've hooked up with from time to time over the years. Met her YRS ago when I think I was 23/24. We took ecstasy together and hooked up at my buddy's house. We met again at another party 8 months later. From there we'd hook up every once in a while. But I never had a clue she was married. We went long periods without seeing each other, but I was busy with my job and working my program, so never thought anything of it. We were never anything serious, it was always about having sex and not seeing each other for months. Last time I saw her was close to 7 months ago. He found out last week. When he called me, I had no idea why he was so pissed, and he told me everything. About how he found she had another phone hidden in the house and he found the texts she sent me. Then he'd confronted her wanting to know who the guy was and she admitted it was me. IDK how much she told him or if she's trying to throw me under the bus too. She knew all this time since me and him started talking again that I was his brother and never said anything until she was caught. He was half yelling at me, half crying, and he couldn't believe I'd do this to him after all the shit he's done for me and that I'm dead to him. No matter how many times I told him I didn't know it was her, he still didn't believe me. Eventually, he hung up on me and all my calls are going to voicemail now. I've texted him a million times explaining everything and telling him I'm sorry, but now I'm not getting anything. I can't imagine how much he's hurting right now. I hate that I'm the one who caused this. Now it's like I keep going back and thinking about why it never occurred to me that she probably was married with kids. Is it that I just didn't care to think about it? Would have never slept with a married woman and now it looks like I've fucked up my relationship with him for life. It just hurts to think about it. We were doing so well, building things back up and going back to how we used to be. Now I've hurt him again and I'm scared I'll never be able to see him or my niece and nephew ever.